Hey everybody, it is Debbie Sardone, and flip the camera around here. Hi guys, if you are listening on the replay, hey Dawn, thanks for joining me. If you're listening on the replay, make sure you follow me. Just tap that little Perry dude in the corner. Hey Pat, good to see you. How's things going? Just tap that little Perry dude in the bottom of your screen and make sure you follow me so that you are notified every time I broadcast live. Great. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I'm enjoying my backyard. Catlin, good to see you. Hey there. Hey, I wanted to do a follow-up call with you, Catlin. All seasons, good to have you. So good to see you. Hello, Kala. I hope you're not at work still. If you are, go home. I have the most wonderful office manager in the whole wide world. Give me some hearts, guys, if you like my broadcast. I'm going to be talking about customer cancellations today. It's not a very fun subject, but it's an important one. Can't hear you. You can't hear me? Well, that must be your phone. Turn it up because everybody else can hear me. If anybody can't hear me, then send me a note in the chat. But anyway, I'm Debbie Sardone. I own one of the largest independent cleaning services in the country. Hello, Marta. Got your name right, I think. And okay, Lisa, you back on? Hopefully you can hear me just fine. Maybe you need to turn the volume up on the side of your phone. But just did my last client. Exhausted. Oh, it's tiring but invigorating, isn't it? Hello, Mom. Made for you. Good to see you. What's Forrest Gump's password? Oh boy, I don't even think I want to answer that question. One Forrest one. That was very good. Actually, I like that. One Forrest one. Oh, I love that. I love corny jokes. That's just so perfect. But hey, 325, thanks for joining me. Hi from Monahans, Texas. Marta, good to see you. I already said hello, Marta. I remembered your name. Yeah, 500 Awkward, good to see you. And Ginger, hello, Ginger. And what kind of bagel can fly? Well, what kind of a bagel can fly? I don't even know. Hello from the UK. And hey from Dallas, good to see you. Howdy, neighbor. Plain bagel, oh, good one. Love those corny jokes. I used to know more corny jokes. Hello, troublemaker. Hello from Italy. My husband's Italian. Our last name is Sardone. Anyway, I'm not going to repeat because no telling what you're typing in there. But anyway, so back to today's topic. I own one of the largest independent cleaning services in the country. How did Burger King get Dairy Queen pregnant? Don't know if I want to hear the answer to that one. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, knick-knack, paddywhack. Okay, well, I think we're done with the jokes. But if you own a cleaning service and you want help growing your residential cleaning business, I can help you. You can visit debbiesardone.com and click on the consulting tab and fill out an inquiry, and I can help you. I have several coaching programs. I have a coaching group that's starting next month, and I'd love to help you. But let's talk about cancellations, because unfortunately, if you own a residential cleaning business, no, I don't actually clean anymore, but I did clean for many, many years, and I loved it. But you can't grow a business if you're out there physically doing the work. So I got out of the field, grew my business to well over $1 million after I got out of the field within a few years. And now I still own the cleaning business, but I have great staff that run it, and I teach other cleaning business owners how to grow and improve their business. One of the things that I talk a lot about is creating systems and processes in your business. If you don't have systems and processes in place, that's when chaos happens, when things don't go right. And you know, what business has everything go right every day, all the time? It's not possible. But if you have systems and processes in place, when things don't go the way you want them, at least they don't fall apart. And an example of this is having a process for handling your customer cancellations. And this is very important. In my office, what we have done is we've created a form like on an MS Word doc, And thank you. We've created a form on MS Word Doc that is kind of like an exit review for customers, and we ask our customers certain questions when they call up to say, I have to cancel service. And this is a recurring customer who calls up and says, I'm not going to be bi-weekly anymore for various reasons. The old way, and not having a process or a system, Debbie Sardone. The old way of doing business would have been, you put the customer on hold, you grab a piece of paper, and you just start scribbling notes like Mrs. Smith is canceling. And that's kind of the old way, and that's not really a process or a system. And invariably, if you're busy, and most of us are, something happens to that piece of paper, it gets lost, you don't call the technician who's in the field, and she shows up and tries to clean that house the very next day. So what we did was we created a form, like an exit form, and we printed out on salmon colored paper. So it's a different color piece of paper than anything else in the office. In fact, nothing in our office gets printed on this orangey salmon colored paper except for the cancellation form. And that way it stands out. And the minute somebody takes that phone call from a customer who's canceling, the employee handling the call is supposed to pull the cancellation form from her drawer or from her folder or somewhere on her desk and immediately start asking questions of the customer. Thanks, I'm glad you like it. That's a good idea. And that way it forces you to remember to ask the important questions that you're going to go, after you hang up, why didn't I ask? So of course, the very first thing we ask is, was there anything wrong with the service? Did you have any problems with your service? And we need to know that if a customer is canceling. Now, obviously, a lot of the times the answer is, oh no, there was no problem, I just have to cut back financially, or oh no, we're moving away and that's why we're canceling. So I would say most of the time it's not a bad answer. It's something that's completely out of our control. If somebody can't afford it, or if they're retiring and now they're cutting back and they're going to clean their own home, or if their husband lost his job and they can't do the service anymore, it's completely out of your control. You can't do anything about it. It's just normal attrition. But you want to note that on the sheet. Did you learn this from experience or school? I learned this from the School of Hard Knocks. You do things wrong enough times, it blows up in your face. You hopefully learn and create a process to not let that fall apart. And so we ask our customers a series of questions. Number one, was there any problems with the service? And we need to hear it if there was. I'm not happy with your service because you have too much employee turnover and I'm sick of the inconsistencies. Or I'm not happy with your service because your people break stuff all the time, or whatever. You need to know what's going on. Then the second question, of course, we always ask is, and of course you have to feel it out and make sure that it's appropriate to ask some of the questions. But the next question, like for instance, if they say, no, I'm just cutting back, your service was great, but I can't afford it right now, I'm going to put the cleaning on hold. Our next question is, would it be all right if we check back with you in the future? And if most people will say, yeah, sure, give me a call. And oftentimes we'll ask, well, what do you think? Should we check back with you in 3 months or 6 months? And sometimes people will actually say, hello, Columbia. Sometimes people will actually say, oh yeah, just check back with me in a few months and hopefully I'll be ready to come back. So then you make a note and you check back with them. You don't just file this away and forget this customer. I mean, it's absurd that so many times business owners don't do anything to try to win back an old customer, especially if they left satisfied but for other reasons. So we ask that question, we note on the form when to call them back, and then we have places on that form to, and we also ask the homeowner, because it's on the form, I should have one in front of me right now, but I'm at home, but we also ask, now, would you like for us to hang on to your key, or would you like to come by and pick it up, or is it okay if we mail it to you? We give the homeowner the option. They can come pick up the key if they don't want it mailed, but we're not driving it over to their house. Or we can just hang on to it, or we can dispose of it for them. If they don't want to come and get it, they don't want it mailed, and they're not planning on coming back to service, maybe they're moving away. Some people say, just throw my key away. And of course, we take all labeling off the key and we dispose of it. So that's another question that needs to be asked, because if you don't ask these questions, you hang up the phone, you're like, okay, what do I do with the key? Should I keep it? Should I mail it back? What? So it's on the form to ask. And then at the bottom of the form, it's like for office use only, some internal things that we need to remember. For example, we have places for administrative staff in the office to check off that they have done these tasks. So one place to check off is that we made notes in the computer, that we took them off the schedule, that we notified the cleaning technician, because you hang up the phone, you get busy, you forget to call the technician, she's going to drive out there tomorrow and clean that house. And then everyone's going to be mad and upset. So we have a place to check off that we have contacted the cleaning technician and that we have mailed the key back, and we put a date when we mailed it. Because maybe we're not going to mail it today because it's 5 o'clock and we're walking out the door. But if there's some lines on that form that haven't been checked off, it stays on that person's desk, and tomorrow when they open up, they can pull the envelope, write out the address, mail the key back, and then check off that they mailed the key back and the date they mailed it back. So, Carla, I don't know if there's anything else on that cancellation form that I've forgotten is on there, but the point of this Periscope is, hello, a real Texas. Thank you. The point of this Periscope is everything in your business needs to have a process and a system behind it, because if you don't, you end up just winging it. And what happens is when you wing it, things fall through the cracks that you forget. And if you're really, really busy and in a big hurry, you won't ask all the questions you need to ask, or you won't follow through and take the person off. Put task to call back. Yeah. Set a task to call back. Thank you. I'll mention that in a second. But if you don't have a system in place, then this is how chaos happens in a business. This is how you waste money by sending a team or a person out to clean a home that canceled. And now you have egg on your face when they're all standing at the door knocking and the homeowner's not there, or the homeowner's answering the door yelling and saying, I canceled you people. I mean, it limits chaos by having processes. And one more thing my office manager mentioned is at the bottom of the sheet, we have a place to check off that you did create a calendar task, which will pop up automatically using our software in 3 months or 6 months. And 3 months from now, we create that calendar task, a little thing will pop up on the person's computer that made the task that says, call her to return to service. And so that's another checkoff box on the cancellation form. But so the main point is, if you own a cleaning business, or if you own any kind of service business, it doesn't matter what it is, where you have customers that cancel, because any of us who have a business that has recurring customers, there is a cancellation that occurs, especially recurring customers. And if you don't have a good system in place to handle your cancellations, you can kind of get away with it when your company's really small and you're the only one answering the phones and you have a good memory. But once your company starts to grow and you've got lots of customers, hundreds of customers, dozens of employees, and other employees working in the office, if you don't have these processes in place, then things fall through the cracks, and it costs you a small fortune to fix the problems. And sometimes the problems can't be fixed. The ill will that you create with an employee who's fed up with the chaos. I always ask if they want to reschedule. Oh, definitely. But see, that's what we call skipping a cleaning versus canceling a service. So we're really careful in our office to make sure we use vocabulary that's very consistent. In our office, the term cancel literally means the customer wants to be removed from the schedule permanently, obviously until they come back, but they want to be taken off the schedule. The term that we use for a customer who's just skipping, we never use the term cancel, because it gets confusing with other people in the office. If you use those terms interchangeably, you say to your office manager or the scheduler, hey, so-and-so is canceling service for tomorrow. Well, what does that mean? Does it mean canceling permanently or canceling temporarily, one time? So we use the term skipping. They're skipping tomorrow's service, or they're canceling their service. If you skip, then yes, we try to reschedule. If somebody calls up and says, I can't do Wednesday, I've got people coming to clean my carpets, then we're going to ask, well, is there any way we can clean for you on Tuesday? Or can we clean Thursday after the carpets are cleaned and the furniture is put back in place? So if somebody's skipping, we try to reschedule. But if somebody's canceling, we fill out this exit form on their cancellation. And then we track those cancellations meticulously. So now you have this orange piece of paper, all the little lines are checked off, all the boxes are checked off that you did this, you did that, you mailed the key, you canceled the job in the system. Consistency in organization is the infrastructure of doing good business. You got that right. If you aren't consistent and if you don't have processes in place, as you grow, you will see chaos erupt and profits dwindle. But so then the last thing we do is we don't just throw that little piece of paper away. That cancellation form goes to our office manager, and she kind of monitors the cancellations. She can look at that cancellation and see if there's one employee that seems to be generating more than normal cancellations. We take those orange sheets and we count them up every month so that we know on an average how many customers we will typically lose. Will we lose 10 customers a month? Are we averaging 12 customers a month that we've lost? If you have a smaller business, you might average 3 to 4 customers a month. But a trend will emerge, and we take those cancellation sheets to track everything. What do you do with that tracking? Well, I know what my attrition rate is. I know exactly what my attrition rate is because I can take those cancellation sheets and I can count them up, and over the course of a 12-month period, a percentage will emerge. And in my company, our cancellation rate or our attrition rate is about 3.9%. So it's a little under 4%. Sometimes it's 3.5%, but it's usually right around 3.9% we will lose of customers every year. So we better mark it above that number, or we'll either shrink or just stay the same for another year. So I hope this was helpful. If you want to tell me where you're at, type in real quick before I shut down the broadcast, where you're at in the world or in the United States. I'd love to hear where you're from. And if you thought this was helpful, please make sure you follow me. Hello, New Jersey. That's where my husband's from. New Jersey. And Minnesota. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. It's cold out there, Caitlin. Minnesota. Oh, well, of course. And San Diego. I love San Diego. That is such a beautiful place. San Diego and all those sailboats. New Jersey again. Oh, where in New Jersey? My husband is from Montclair. Maine. Wow, Maine. That's pretty chilly too. I'm assuming it's still a little bit cold in those parts of the country. I'm sitting outside here in Texas, enjoying my backyard. I know Pat will appreciate it because I just had all this landscaping done, and I just love it. It's kind of like a tropical oasis. Oh, you love Montclair. Okay, well, my husband hasn't been there really since a kid. But, yeah, I love the weather here. We're pretty lucky. It's been very mild. So 30 degrees. Oh, my goodness, that's just terrible. I hate cold weather. I'm from Miami, Florida originally, and I just hate cold weather. And I love the warm Texas weather. So cold but beautiful. Yes, very, very beautiful coast. Absolutely. And thank you for appreciating my landscaping. I figured you would. I'll show you a little more of it here in just a second. Okay, so the umbrella is all folded up for the night, but usually we put 2 of these chairs over here on this crushed granite, which looks like sand. It looks like sand. So we kind of feel like we're sitting outside by the ocean, even though we're not. We're sitting in a backyard in a suburb. And then I'm really excited about my big pot over here where I planted kind of a variety of flowers. That was my doing. And I don't have a green thumb, but I think it turned out pretty. And there's my fun sign in the yard that says soup of the day. Of course, it's wine. And then they planted a couple of dormant plants that should be perking up here pretty soon. I thought that was weird, but whatever. And so that thing should perk up and get real green. And then they have all these. This was all just planted in the last 6 weeks. And then I got 3 palm trees in my backyard. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, all the color. I love color. And these little tiny bushes are cute. Spring has sprung. Yes, it sure has. And so anyway, we have three palm trees. And then my husband and I usually put these 2 chairs out here on this crushed granite. And we just sit out here and enjoy a glass of wine, smoke a cigar, and just, act like adults that don't have little kids anymore. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed seeing my landscaping. I sure love it. I'm enjoying it like crazy. You know what? I wanted a yard like this too for like 20 years. So we finally put it in. So when you finally do, it is a treat. Makes you want to stay home a little bit more. So thank you guys so much for being on my broadcast. Make sure you follow me. If you own a cleaning service and you need help, I have a new coaching group starting up in April. I have a cleaning business field trip that I will be hosting June 24th. It's absolutely phenomenal. Thank you. You have a great evening too, Pat. The business field trip is a really great experience for business owners to get kind of an insider's peek at $1 million maid service. We kind of open up the doors and let you peek in, and we have an agenda that we follow for a full day of training, and that's June 24th. It's not free, but you can contact me at debbiesardone.com and fill out an inquiry form, a consult inquiry form, and I'll be happy to give you more details. Or if you'd like to join my cleaning, oh hey, out for a walk, good to see you. You'll have to listen to the replay. But if you'd like to join my cleaning business fundamentals course, it's really an incredible business training course for a residential cleaning business owner. So thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful evening and stay warm out there in those northern states. Take care, everyone. Bye, Mom. Bye, Lisa.